Hi everybody, it's Chris and I am back to do another pour with you guys today. It is a sunny, beautiful day in Iowa and we will take it because we've had so much rain and snow and crazy weather that it's kind of nice to see some sunshine today. So hopefully I don't have too much of a glare. I'm filming in front of my window again. So I'm back today to do another color inspired pour. And this is the inspiration that I have chosen for us to use today. I think it's really cool. It has turquoise in it, which, you know, I love. But it also has some browns and greens in it, which when I do these, I really try to choose something that does not fall into my wheelhouse because I love turquoise, but I also love the purples and blues and stuff too. So try to find something that will get me away from my usual colors. So today I'm using black, obviously. My dark green is the Soho Urban Artist Acrylic Emerald Green, and then I've added some black to it to darken it up. So that's this color here. And then the turquoise is the Artist Loft Turquoise, and then I've also added some white into it to pale it up because I felt like it was way too dark the way it was. And then my sage green is a little bit different combination. So this is Chrome Oxide Green from Hobby Lobby. It's their Master's Touch series. And then I also added in the green yellow. The green yellow is an Artist Loft color. I felt like it was just a little bit too dull. And then I added a bunch of white into it to make it a lighter, prettier color. Well, not necessarily prettier, but definitely a lighter version of what I had. So there's that color. And then I also have some raw umber, which is the dark brown that's there on the end. And I think I want to add just a little bit more pouring medium to my dark green because I feel like it's a little too thick still. So I'm just going to add a little bit of that in and we'll get this mixed up. I'm working on a 12 by 16 canvas today. And this is actually a canvas that I used in a previous pour that did not go well. So you might see a little bit of color. I'm going to set this guy over to the side. I'll give you one last look at it. Okay, so my canvas is a 12 by 16. I have 3 7-ounce cups that I have sprayed lightly with the WD-40 silicone spray, and then I did go ahead and wipe those out with a paper towel because sometimes I feel like if it pulls up in the bottom of the cup, it's almost like an oil slick, and I feel like it kind of interferes with my painting a little bit. All right, so on a 12 by 16, I generally go for about 15 ounces of paint. And I don't want to start with my black. I think I'll start with my dark green because sometimes the first color that you put into the cup is kind of the one that ends up showing, and I don't necessarily want the black to be prevalent. I want the other colors to be a little more apparent. And then I think I'm gonna go with my lighter green and keep my greens kind of together. So I'm just gonna try and layer these into my cup gently. And just try not to mix my paints up too much. They'll mix definitely when we flip them over, but. And then next we're gonna go with the lighter turquoise color. I don't have any silicones in my paint. This is just my paints mixed with my pouring medium. And my pouring medium is 4 cups of Floetrol that has been strained, a cup of Liquitex pouring medium, a cup of Glue-All, a half a cup of Liquitex pouring medium, and about a 1/4 cup of water. Okay, next we're gonna go with the black. So my goal is to get about 2 layers of paint in here of each of the colors. We may have to do 3, we'll see where we're at after the 2 layers. And then this is the dark umber. And then we'll go back in with the darker green. So I find with my pouring medium that I use, I generally get some really nice cells. And I try to kind of avoid using silicone. Sometimes I will put it in a paint if I know that I'm really not going to get a lot of action out of it. But I'm just going to go ahead and put all of this green in here, I think. And we'll just use this up and we're going to do 2 layers. But sometimes I do put some silicone in my paint if I know that it's a color that I don't generally get a lot of reaction out of. Otherwise, I just kind of go with what my paint will do for me with my pouring medium. Okay, and going back in with the lighter green, and we're just going to finish up these green ones, I think, because I don't have enough to do anything else with it. And this will get us up to the amount that we need anyway. Okay, and then back in with some more turquoise. And we're probably going to end up having a little bit more than 5 ounces in each cup, but that's okay. I thought I had plenty of paint mixed up so that I could do a set of coasters too, but it's not looking that way. All right, and then back in with some black. And then the dark brown. I'm going to go a little bit heavier with the dark brown on this one. All right. Okay, guys, let me get these guys out of the way so that we don't make a big old mess that I have to clean up later. All right, so I've got my 3 cups. Now I'm just going to flip those over onto the surface. Not too exciting right now because I think about the only thing that came out was the brown, but that's okay. Okay, so the reason I use the WD-40 in my cups is so that the paint will release, and you can kind of see that it's already letting go on the cups. And so I'm just kind of watching for those to become a little bit more clear. This one is, I probably wiped out more silicone in that one than the other ones. So let me just pick that up so that you guys can see what's going on. There's not a lot of fun stuff going on yet, just because I didn't have a lot of paint seep out when I flip the cups. Sometimes I'll have a lot more paint that comes out, and it's a little bit more exciting. Okay, so the paint has released, so I'm going to start by pulling my middle cup and take that down to the bottom of the canvas. I'm going to let a little bit spill out over the top. And there's our color. And I probably dumped off way too much on the end, but that's all right. I generally have more paint than what I need on these pours because I get a little carried away with the paint that I have mixed up. But that's okay. Love that turquoise. The green is really pretty too. Okay, so now I'm just going to kind of let it flow together a little bit and see if some of this will kind of meet in the middle. And then I do want to torch it. And you can see some fun stuff already happening. So I'm going to go ahead and torch it and pop some of my air bubbles, and then that should get a little bit more action going on in the paint too. Okay. There's definitely a lot of brown in it, which is kind of surprising. I know that I put a lot of brown on the top layer, but I didn't think I had that much brown in the second layer. So I kind of want this to flow together a little bit more before I start tilting, if it will. So I'm just going to go ahead and let this sit here, and then I will cut this part out so you guys don't have to slowly watch paint run together. And then I'll bring it back on when I'm ready to tilt. Okay guys, so I have let this sit for a few minutes and kind of let some of the paint run together. I did cheat a little bit and pull some of the paint off of the bottom with my palette knife, this little pool that I had going down here, just to kind of fill in here and a little bit here, and then also down here on the corners and the top corners. And I'm not too concerned that it doesn't match perfectly because most of this will flow off anyway, but this will help the paint move a little bit easier. And definitely on my corners, it'll help to get those covered as well. So I'm going to start by picking it up, tilting it down towards the top so that we can get this covered. You can see there's some really cool stuff going on in the paint, so that makes me happy. All right, so I'm just going to kind of go back and forth to try to retain the lines. And just trying to get that bottom part covered and kind of let that paint flow together. And then I'm just going to go over the end, just like that. And then I'll pull it back over, and I do want to go over on this right side where my canvas is still showing. So my paint should kind of be in that general area, so I'm just going to flow over the side and then pull it back up, and then I'm just going to gently go back down to the bottom. And I do need to cover my canvas over here on the left. And I feel like I've got quite a bit of way to paint there right now, so I'm just going to kind of go over that edge while I have that paint sitting there, and go down to my corner and off that side and then back over. Okay, that is looking very cool. And then I just want to go off the end on the right, and there we go. All right, so you can see there on the top where I kind of brought some more colors in off of my plastic that I do still have some of those lines from my spatula, but I think it's okay. It's actually quite pretty, and it definitely put a little bit more interest there. So right now I just kind of want to stretch my paint back up so that I have an even amount everywhere. And I feel like I could get rid of it just a tiny bit more, I think, but I think the sides are looking pretty good, and just need to do a little bit of work on the corners. And while I have it up here, let me give you a little bit closer look. Hopefully the glare of the window is not in your way. So you can see we've got some really cool cells. It's really a pretty color combination, I think. I really like those greens and that turquoise, and the brown is quite pretty together. Okay, so let me take my gloves off and grab my iPad, and I'll show you the color inspiration again, and we'll see how we did with it. Okay guys, here's the color inspiration. I want to make sure you can see it there. So this is the color inspiration, and then here's the painting. So that green will definitely dry darker, because you can see this green is really dark. But this green, actually the entire painting will dry quite a bit darker. So I think it's going to look really cool when it's dry. All right, guys, there's another color inspiration pour. If you have any questions, please let me know. Please like and subscribe and leave me a comment. Thanks so much. Have a great day.